Oscar-nominated actor Terrence Howard just revealed how Diddy and other members of the gay mafia tried to trap him and sexually abuse him. Diddy has sexually abused some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and allegedly, even Terrence Howard was abused by a celebrity at one point.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
The gay mafia in Hollywood forces young actors to get caught up in shady deals where they have to trade their bodies for better roles. Couch casting is still very much alive in the industry, and according to Terrence, Diddy was allegedly interested in him too, but he turned Diddy down to save his integrity. The day you let someone use you sexually in return for favors in the industry is the day that you lose yourself. You need to stand by your boundaries and respect yourself. You don't recover from giving yourself up like that.
You got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far, Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head, But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card.
Terrence Howard has even offered insight into why Justin Bieber acted out the way he did. Allegedly, once actors give up their integrity or are forced to participate in sex acts, they try to drown the memories behind drugs. You can't move past that experience, and eventually it goes on to define your whole existence.
You see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Terrence Howard has over 97 patents that are being used by some of the biggest companies in the world. HP, Microsoft, and even Apple are using technology created by Terrence Howard to make trillions of dollars. And the only reason why Terrence isn't able to make money from his invention is because he refused to bend over. This man is a literal genius.
My patent, 2010, it was abandoned. Now go to cited by. You see that 131 cited by? Tap on there. It's right under where it says abandoned. Patent
cited
citation.
by 31.
Cited by 31. It's to the right. Yep, right there. Tap on there and look at all the companies. And if you look at the patent, these companies have all earned, they have multi-billion-dollar companies they've built off of my patent. Just roll through.
Sony, Microsoft, Amazon.
Hewlett-Packard.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. IBM, and it's still making money. This patent has earned over $7 trillion.
And you didn't get a piece.
And I haven't gotten a penny of it. When they did all of the Black Lives Matter, like Raytheon Company. And IBM, if you...
Crazy.
And it still has another 9 years. Another 8 years in which I would be making money off it. But what they didn't know is they didn't understand is how it was really supposed to work. So they've just been taking this gun and been using it as a bat. And if they wanted to know, I could show them how it really, really works. But this is proof that my stuff
is legit.
Industry insiders have reacted to what Terrence Howard said. And according to academics, Terrence Howard is telling the truth. Tom Hanks has also talked about rampant sexual abuse in the film industry. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Roman Polanski, and more were all sexual predators who used young men and forced them into degrading sex acts.
Online. For some reason, I kind of believe it, but I don't believe it in the sense that, well, actually, I believe it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Why is Diddy so ashamed of being bisexual if he is? Bro, live your truth. There's a couple of these gay-ass rappers, too. They need to live their truth, too.
The idea that there are sexual predators in power, not just in Hollywood, but I think in all across any place there's a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of politics that goes on that can slide in between appropriate ethics and decorum to inappropriate behavior to the point of harassment and sexual predatory behavior.
Well, I mean, I think people understand that, but the larger question is there a culture of complicity in Hollywood where women are afraid to speak up because they'll be blacklisted, men are afraid to speak up because either they're out of the same fear or they just think, well, this is the way the system works.
I think there are people that say, hey, this is how it works, pure and simple, and this is why I got into it, and this is why I have power. This is how it works, and you have to understand that. That does not carry the day. Complicity is also complicity. The people who know, well, look, this is how we do business, and that's what it's got to be done. I'm sorry, it's like that. So beware.
Allegedly, Diddy was part of the gay mafia that controlled Hollywood and the music industry. Record company executives and directors were all involved in the sex trafficking ring with Diddy, and names like Harvey Weinstein at the center of everything.
You got to trademark that. But do you believe hip-hop got a gay mafia?
Yes. Do I believe there's people behind the scenes that are homosexuals that are pushing buttons? Yes. And that they want you to be down with their in order to push the button for you? Absolutely. And this is part of it. You just saw one of the gay mafia members. That's who he is. That's who Puffy is. He's one of the members of the mob. He's a mafia member. But he might not be Don Carlos. He's not the godfather. You see? He's not the godfather. He's one of the heads of the families. You see? We had different families in this thing. We got Bad Boy. We got fucking what do we have? Death Row over here. We have the different we got fucking Arista Records and LaFace. These are the fucking families in the mafia. You dig? Those record companies are like families.
Interestingly enough, there are some people in Hollywood who claim that not even Terrence Howard was able to watch away scratch-free. American singer and actor Orlando Brown claims that he had homosexual relations with Terrence Howard. Orlando Brown has revealed secrets about some of the biggest names in the industry, and right now he is probably one of the only stars in the industry who openly claim to have had consensual sex with Diddy. In a recent interview on Cam Capone News, Orlando Brown described an encounter he had with Diddy, where he described how Diddy gave him some oosh gosh muash.
We made love. We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes.
You just told me you see Busta in the airport too. That motherfucker try to act like he didn't know you. You smashed Drake?
No, I never smashed.
Oh, you made love to Drake.
And Cat Williams. What's his name?
Bro, you smashing a lot of people.
What's that nigga name? Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Usher. Usher's a gusher. And
what the fuck? Why you ain't naming no hoes?
I'm telling you, bro. It's my dad's friends. My dad sicked his baddest friends on me.
Who's your dad?
Lucifer. Thought you knew.
I did.
Okay.
You're Jesus.
Yeah. So my dad sicked like every bad one on me. And I was like, whatever. Whatever. But the babies matter now. And I'm like, nigga, not my kids, cause y'all tripping.
You know what I mean? I got on my Diddy mode. I'm sorry, I started licking my lip. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yo, Diddy, you gave me the ooshkash goosmash. You gave me the ooshkash muaf. The shmoosmash. Diddy. Yeah, son. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You gave me the ooshkash muash. I love it, yo. I love it. You gave me the ooshkash muash.
And
that ooshkash muash. You know what I'm talking about, Diddy?
It's not just Terrence Howard who Diddy tried to solicit sex from. Diddy tried to get into a relationship with 50 Cent too, and according to 50 Cent, Diddy said things to him that men say to women. Diddy wanted to take 50 shopping, but 50 said no. As a result, Diddy went out on a date with Meek Mill instead, and Meek even showed up at a Diddy party wearing matching clothes with Diddy. With everything that is coming out against Diddy now, every celebrity is trying to maintain their distance.
Close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt.
Holy
this is not Photoshop.
shit.
This is really happening. I'm just saying to you. No, stop. Stop it. Look, you set that up. Look, you set that up. There's no, he's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
He obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. Like you go, I'm like, nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say. Like girls, guys may say to a girl, you know, like, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
But the world we're in right now, it's really hard for y'all to like discern what's real and what's true, you know? And I've been seeing y'all memes and stuff. People be making memes. I see the memes. I say, no, some of that stuff is funny. Some of it's funny. But I haven't addressed any of this publicly, but I just want to say this very clearly. I don't have to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all them memes. I can stop all of that. I ain't been nowhere near no damn freak off. Listen, I do enough of my own. Don't be putting me in other people's. I ain't been nowhere near that man. I ain't did none of that stupid. So, whenever y'all hear it, if somebody say that, it's a damn lie. I don't even like baby oil. But I haven't said that publicly. I just said y'all the first time. I usually don't respond to dumb stuff because it's like people. It's so many things people say, so much stuff, but you know that one it was your memes was doing too much. Y'all was having me mad.
Just last week, a new lawsuit was filed that named Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron James, and even Gloria Estefan as members of an alleged Diddy party. Victim Joseph Manzaro alleges that he was drugged, transported against his will, and sexually maimed as a victim of a coercive and organized criminal enterprise, facilitated by Diddy and others back in 2015. Slowly, more and more names will come forward, and hopefully, everyone guilty of these disgusting crimes will go to prison.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing new accusations of human trafficking as he awaits his federal trial. In a civil case filed in Florida April 1st, Joseph Manzaro alleges, according to court documents obtained by E! News, that he was drugged, transported against his will, and sexually maimed as a victim of a coercive and organized criminal enterprise facilitated by Combs and others back in 2015, and names celebs such as Beyonce, Jay-Z, and LeBron James as witnesses in the lawsuit. In his filing, Manzaro says the alleged events took place in April 2015. He states that he lost consciousness after feeling a, quote, greasy substance resembling Vaseline as he opened the front door to his home, after which he says he was transported to another residence, where an associate of Combs allegedly told him that the music mogul wanted him brought to a freak-off event. Manzaro alleges in the suit he was secretly transferred to the music producer's home through a concealed tunnel allegedly connected to Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan's Miami property. He alleges that upon regaining partial consciousness, he found himself inside a large party area upon information and belief that it was a birthday party for Combs' then 17-year-old son Christian Combs. There he was allegedly forced to appear in a penis mask. The lawsuit states, Jay-Z and Beyonce Knowles Carter were seated in the room, and upon seeing Manzaro, Beyonce Knowles Carter asked, "What's this? What's this all about? Why is this half-naked white man with a penis mask standing here in front of me?" Manzaro alleges in the lawsuit that he was then forcibly paraded through multiple rooms filled with people who were jeering and taunting him.
High-profile individuals, including Jacob Arabo, Jay-Z, Gloria Estefan, LeBron James, and Beyonce Knowles Carter, are identified as witnesses due to their presence or knowledge of the events surrounding the freak-off orchestrated by defendant Diddy. Wow. And freak-off, of course, is something that we've heard many times before, both in Combs' criminal case and other civil cases, to describe these prolonged sexual episodes, usually with sex workers. But Manzaro is suing Sean Combs. He is suing a man named Eric Mejias. He is suing Brendan Paul, who's been described in another lawsuit as Sean Combs' drug mule, Emilio Estefan, who is married to pop superstar Gloria Estefan, and Adria English, who filed her own lawsuit against Sean Combs, claiming she too was a victim of sex trafficking. By the way, it's interesting he's not suing these other celebrities that I mentioned, like Jay-Z and Beyonce and Gloria Estefan, possibly because he doesn't believe their alleged liability amounted to a civil claim, but seems to want to call them as witnesses at a trial, although I have to imagine they will do everything in their power to quash any subpoena should this case progress.
Usher is another name that is alleged to have been in a relationship with Diddy in exchange for fame.
The result of being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you're gonna put me in the studio, man. You got Biggie Smalls in there, you got Craig Mack in there. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? We would fight, we would tussle.
Back in the days when we want to thank you. Come here, don't sit on the bed at night. No homo, no, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close, but it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed, at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Fresh
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars.
A third superseding indictment was also filed against Diddy. Federal prosecutors have added more details about the alleged crimes and mentioned a new victim, plus an additional charge of sex trafficking and an additional charge of transportation to engage in prostitution. This brings the total number of charges against Diddy to 5 and exposes him to the possibility of additional prison time if convicted.
By acting U.S. Attorney Matthew Podolsky lays out what this is about, lays out the 3 big differences in this new filing. Quote, the third superseding indictment contains 3 substantive changes to the charged offenses. First, Count 4, which is, by the way, a new count, Count 4 charges an additional substantive count of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion with respect to Victim 2. Victim 2 was previously identified as a victim of sex trafficking in Count 1 of the second superseding indictment. And if you look at Count 1 in the second superseding indictment, which is racketeering conspiracy, it reads in part, Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims, including but not limited to 3 female victims, Victim 1, Victim 2, and Victim 3, to engage in commercial sex acts. In connection with the commercial sex acts, Combs provided the victims with, among other things, monetary payments, career opportunities, and payment of rent and housing expenses. Okay, so again, that was Count 1 in the second superseding indictment. But now, Combs is facing a new individual sex trafficking charge against Victim 2. And it reads, quote, from at least in or about 2021 up to and including in or about 2024 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, and then it says, recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, and maintained Victim 2 and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused Victim 2 to engage in commercial sex acts, knowing and in reckless disregard for the fact that Victim 2 was engaging in commercial sex acts as a result of force, fraud, and coercion.
The people around Diddy have started to leave him, and it's only a matter of time now before Diddy is all alone. A month before Diddy's trial is scheduled to start, his lawyer, Anthony Rico, actually quit citing irreconcilable differences between him and Diddy. In a letter addressed to the judge, Anthony Rico wrote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs.
Sean Diddy Combs' legal team is getting a little smaller. As the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on sex trafficking charges, his attorney Anthony Rico respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Rico, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. The motion continues, quote, while I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case. Rico noted that there wouldn't be a lapse in representation since the rapper.
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, This is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
Diddy's chief of staff, who Diddy described as the key to his operations, has also spoken out against what went on at Diddy's parties. These people know that if Diddy goes down, they go down with him, and it's only a matter of time now before his empire comes crumbling down. Diddy's lawyers recently tried to get the evidence against him suppressed. They're desperate and willing to do anything.
A former member of Sean Diddy Combs' team is speaking out. As the embattled record producer awaits a federal trial on sex trafficking and other charges to which he has pleaded not guilty, his former chief of staff, Christina Coram, is breaking her silence. In response to allegations linked to her in several separate civil cases filed against Combs, Coram, who worked for the Bad Boys record founder for over a decade, tells Rolling Stone in a statement published March 18th, "For months, horrific accusations have been made about me in various lawsuits regarding my former boss. These false allegations of my involvement are causing irreparable and incalculable damage to my reputation and the emotional well-being of myself and my family." Adding, "I have never condoned or aided and abetted the sexual assault of anyone, nor have I ever drugged anyone. The idea that I could be accused of playing a role in or even being a bystander to the rape of anyone is beyond upsetting, disturbing, and unthinkable." She ends her statement saying, "This is not who I am, and my heart goes out to all victims of sexual assault. I am confident that the allegations against me will be proven to be untrue."
Now to Sean Diddy Combs, looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced as prosecutors allege.
The only thing that is working out in Diddy's favor is that some of the cases against him are being dismissed due to the victims not willing to let go of their anonymity.
Turn now to another win in court for Sean Diddy Combs. A federal judge dismissing a sexual assault lawsuit against the hip-hop mogul, citing the plaintiff's failure to file a complaint under her real name. Combs has denied all wrongdoing.
And joining us now is ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky and ABC News contributor and attorney Brian Buckmeyer. Gentlemen, good to see you both. So Aaron, we'll start with you. Tell us exactly how this case got dismissed.
Well, it's as simple as that. The judge said that the presumption is when you file a civil lawsuit against somebody, the defendant has a right to know who his accuser is. So at some point, she was not going to be allowed to proceed anonymously. The only thing we knew about her in this case is a New York woman who says she was sexually assaulted and violently hit by Sean Combs sometime around 1995 at a party for a Biggie Smalls video. And the judge told her at some point you're going to have to say who you are. She refused to do it by the deadline the judge set, and so the judge dismissed the case.
With Diddy's own legal team abandoning ship and more witnesses coming forward, one thing is clear: this isn't going away anytime soon. So what do you think? Is this the fall of a music mogul, or just the tip of a much bigger iceberg? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Because the truth is finally cracking through the surface.